So we got a live look of DeSantis dropping out of the campaign and endorsing Trump.
Woo! Boy, I bet that feels good.
He can finally take those boots off.
But yeah, he dropped out of the race right before the primary. Trump came in, absolutely destroyed Nikki Haley in a state where she invested hundreds of millions of dollars, and by 11 points. So
interesting. I feel like the polling I saw showed the margin smaller than that. Was that did she underperform?
No,
the polling?
I think the polling. So keep in mind that margin is 5% either way, right? So
margin for
each
error.
number is margin for error. If it's +4, it means it's 8 points either direction.
I see.
So if you poll at 52, right, and the other person polls at 56, right, that could easily put you, 52 and 46, that could easily put you at 54, 43.
Gotcha.
Right, because it's 4 points.
There's some wiggle room in those numbers for
This
sure.
was supposed to be one of her strongest states too. Which,
Yes.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like she did better than she should be for how I feel like the ethos of the Republican Party is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So her doing this well, it's actually kind of disheartening
your
in a
assumption
sense.
is that these are Republicans voting for.
Well, and that's a good point because we have some stuff on that as well that we want to get into.
If it wasn't Republicans voting for her, then who was voting for her?
Well, here, why don't we just jump to this video right here?
let's jump.
Do we
see
need
it.
the context of open primaries first?
Yeah,
Sure.
Do you
Okay.
want to explain it?
So different states have different rules when it comes to elections and associating with a party. So some states are closed primaries, meaning you have to register with a primary with a party, and then you get to vote in that primary's election. Other states, and I think New Hampshire is kind of unique as a East Coast state that has an open primary system where anyone can just show up on that day or soon before and then get that party's ballot.
Yeah, so we have a guy exiting from his vote getting interviewed by CNN right here. So let's hear what this guy has to say on why he voted for Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
And why did you vote for Nikki Haley?
It's a vote against Trump. I think it would be better to have her against Biden in the elections than it would be Trump and her.
Do you consider yourself generally independent, Republican, or Democrat?
Democrat.
So when you undeclared, you voted for Nikki Haley. If it was Nikki Haley against Joe Biden in a general election, who are you voting for?
Joe Biden.
Okay.
He got the assignment.
Yes. This guy showed up and did exactly as he was instructed to do. This is just one anecdote. Is there evidence that there were more people who voted for Nikki Haley from the Democratic Party who weren't actually registered Republicans or interested in voting for the Republican in the general?
In an open primary state, if you are a Democrat, you can go and vote. Basically, they don't ask the question when you show up. If you're from a closed primary state, this would be weird, but how it works, this was the same way it works in Montana. You show up at the place, you say, hey, I want to vote. And they're like, oh, okay, where's your ID if you're of an ID state? You confirm your identity in your district, and then they just say, do you want a Republican or a Democrat ballot or an independent or libertarian ballot, depending on what's available. And then you grab that ballot, fill it out, hand it back, put it in the little slot box. So what this means is these are the people who voted in the Republican primary. 86% of Haley's support were from Democrats.
86. Jeez. And
Trump-
58% from independents. Only 25% of registered Republicans voted for Haley,
Right.
compared to Trump, who got 74% of registered Republican support.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, what this is indicating is that the memo about Democrats supporting Haley to try to get Trump to not win the nomination has been spread, and people are buying into it, and they're actually going to the polls in open primary states and trying to make this happen.
Absolutely right. And that makes a ton of sense. If you have a tremendously unpopular president as your party candidate nominee, you don't even get to elect them, right? They don't even have
Biden,
the
you mean?
debate on the Democrat side. So why wouldn't you? And of course, this is a statistical model. This isn't actually who voted. This is based upon surveying 2,192 people, right?
So this is an extrapolation of a smaller sample size.
Right. So, but it probably has an error rate of at max 5 to 8%, right? So even at 5 to 8%, you're still sitting at an overwhelming majority of Republicans choosing Trump in this election.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. I mean, it's just wild to me that Democrats, are are actually out there doing it. Like, it's one thing to talk about it and tweet about it or whatever, but they're actually doing it. That's wild.
Oh yeah, and it just shows the Democrats are very much united in such things. They're very tactical, and I think it'd be a lot harder to get Republicans to do this sort of thing.
Well, yeah, because it's always said that the Democrats are just better organized than Republicans, right? Like by nature. Is that true?
I think that's also like an insider outsider thing. Like your opponent always seems very organized, and your side always seems like it's a cluster, right? That's just how it is.
Sure.
If you ever talk to Democrat like operatives, they'll tell you no, it's always a chaos and a fight and all that kind of stuff. Same way. So I don't know.
There's probably a lot of things like union influence though too. Like there's always kind of information dissemination that comes down from union groups, and everybody's kind of in a union. So I think there's like people getting time off to go do stuff, things like that type of stuff happens in a lot of these states.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot of factors as to why that is and why it might seem like they're more organized. And I think generally speaking, they are a little bit more organized, but like both have their own organizational purposes, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I think you're right. They have like stronger coalitions vertically, while opposite for Republicans.
You'd have to think that the Haley campaign is looking at this data that we're looking at and going, most of our support's not coming from within our party. We probably don't have much of a chance of winning this primary. She's probably thinking about dropping out, right?
I don't think she's... No, I don't think her purpose is to win. I think her purpose is to damage Trump and also operate as a symbol for like the last vestige of this group that exists within the GOP.
The Never Trump coalition.
And she needs to be the symbol of rebellion against the big orange man that has taken over the party and is disrupting all of the elite structures and stuff. She needs to be that symbol. And that's what everything is kind of forming around. It's much more like... In a sense, it's much more of a religious battle than it is actually. Like everyone knows Trump is going to win. It's a matter of how much the old vestige can put up a fight. I think that's much more what it is.
I don't know what you're talking about. She is the anti-establishment candidate taking on the old guard of the Republican Party, aka Donald Trump. Have you seen her speech? I mean, we should see this incredible, inspiring, visionary speech where she lays out her case for not leaving.
Now, you've all heard the chatter among the political class. They're falling all over themselves, saying this race is over.
It's not over. It's not over. No.
That guy's a Raytheon lobbyist.
Well, I have news for all of them. New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation.
Not
so
even first.
Weird. Look at her smile. Like she's like, this is so great. This should be like we got our
This
faces
race
kicked
is
in.
far from over. There are dozens of states left to go.
That I will lose in handily.
She's losing in her own state.
And the
Let your
next
voice
one
be heard,
is my
Nikki.
sweet state of South Carolina.
Where you will lose. Where is she polling in South Carolina?
I was just about to look it up.
At one point in this campaign, there were 14 of us running, and we were at 2% in the polls.
Is that right? Carry the
Well,
one.
I'm a fighter. And I'm scrappy. And now we're the last one standing next to Donald Trump. And today we got close to half of the vote.
Close. Keyword close.
We still have a ways
Between
to go,
two candidates.
but we keep moving
Almost
up.
all on Democrat votes. Probably.
Today we got close to half. Didn't quite make that half mark though.
Yes, let's check out how South Carolina is shaping up. So the poll, this is the most recent ones, right? And polls are mostly about direction, right? And what it looks like is Trump has consolidated support over time, right? He was doing a little bit worse in the past.
Where are we looking here? Polls ending.
Trump is beating Nikki by 40 points.
Oh,
is what
okay.
it's
So
suggesting.
top line here, yeah, we're seeing polling as of the 17th to 18th of January. Trump commanding a 68% to 28% lead in the polls over Nikki Haley. 40 points in South Carolina, her home state.
Yeah, where she was governor for no less than how long
Years
was she
and years.
governor? 8 years.
Yeah. I was going to say it was about a
2011,
decade.
2017.
Okay.
So
So Nikki Haley's staying in We know that much. On the dollar of the donor class.
She's staying in as long as the donors keep paying her.
And she also has no personal reason to pull out. She's just making money right now.
Yeah.
All she's doing is going around getting money, getting more donors, getting more name identification for this kind of elite group of people that in the Republican Party, even if you get 25% of a very large group of people, that's still a lot of people who are now into your brand.
Yeah, true.
Right?
It's good, pre-marketing for her forthcoming underwhelming book release, right?
She's advertising right now. She's advertising herself as like, I'm willing to say anything you guys want me to say. Like that is what she's advertising for right now.
I am on this podium for sale to the highest bidder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's just auctioning herself off at the moment, right?
But she has lost some donors, right? I mean, Reid Hoffman pulled out of contributing to her campaign recently. That was in the headlines this week.
Yeah, we have this great headline from Zero Hedge that has to be read. Reid Hoffman pulls out of Nikki Haley after New Hampshire pounding.
Yikes.
Jeez. That headline is something else, man. Okay, so
Yeah.
Reid Hoffman, he's the former founder and CEO of
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also,
Netflix?
peripherally Epstein related as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he's a big Democratic donor. Very publicly got in for Nikki in December, I think it was, November, December of last year. And now it's being reported that he's now no longer supporting her after she failed to do anything of substance here.
Important to reiterate, too, that he is a prominent Democrat donor, right? So, again, another establishing this narrative of the Democrats rallying support behind Nikki because they don't want to see Trump again.
Yep. So is she in for the long haul? I mean, at least through South Carolina, of course, because, that's, I don't know, the polling is not close. I mean, like you can object to polling, right? It could be understandable.
But when the polling's this off, that's a wide margin of error, Dave.
Right? Like you're like, oh, it could be off by 10 points. That's a pretty radical claim. 10 points off in two directions. But
You're still losing by 30
20 points off in two directions?
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
man. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know. The Babylon Bee reported that Nikki Haley announced she has won New Hampshire by negative 12 points.
They just don't miss, you know?
Oh, man. I love the Bee.
Yeah. So
love those guys.
what's she in for? I mean, it's all speculation, but I do think that she's got, she's quartering herself to the kind of people who's going to be able to keep her employed.